Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome back to another Real Madrid review. Valencia nil, Real Madrid 2. Not the most flashiest victory. Real Madrid didn't walk the park with it, but that was expected. And from now on, every single win that Real Madrid get is going to be like this. You're not going to get dominant displays where Real Madrid just completely destroy the opponents, and it's just how it is. I don't like it. Real Madrid fans don't like it, but that's the truth, and we have to live with it. But anyways, away at the Mestalla, picking up the victory, not bad. Um, and yeah, really good defensive performance, I would say. I thought when Valencia were at their best, it was when they were putting in crosses or they were trying to uh, take shots from outside the box. And when they did put crosses into the box, I thought that defensively, players like Dean Huijsen, players like Raul Asensio and Aurelien Chouameni, um, they all dealt with it pretty well, right? And I'm gonna go through it in a second, but I thought Arbeloa did one good thing with his team decision and one bad thing with his team decision. But the good thing, let's start with the positive, is David Jimenez. Now, David Jimenez obviously used to play for Arbeloa in the Castilla team, and he hasn't been getting too many opportunities. I think he did play against Albacete, didn't he? But apart from that, he didn't play in any other games specifically in La Liga. Now, when you look at this team and the fact that Carvajal is supposedly fit, and we'll get on to Carvajal in just a bit, but he's not being, chosen to start. Trent is just back. And what Xabi Alonso was doing, and you could even say what Carlo Ancelotti did, was Fede Valverde right back. Go ahead. But Arbeloa did that. And today, he thought, okay, why not put Valverde back in the midfield where he is best at? Fede Valverde, I thought, had a very good game. And that was purely down to being in his position. That's where he belongs. That's where he should be. And, okay, Trent is out. Carvajal might not be fully fit. So, you have got a youth player in David Jimenez. Yes, play him. Start him. I know it's going to be tough to expect him to play really, really well every game. But he's just done it at the Mestalla. Now, I will say this. Arbeloa, he is essentially applying an application for this job. Now, whether you think he wants this job permanently or not, most likely yes, it is a Real Madrid job. And you would think that a player like Arbeloa, who used to play for us, and he has managed the Castilla team, his goal was to work his way up to the main job, right? So this is his application, right? This is his. Because Real Madrid, we've had rumors, but we have not had concrete confirmation that Real Madrid are going to hire another manager or coach. So when you've got Arbeloa there, who is, I would say, in pole position to take it, he should not and cannot be just copying what Xabi Alonso did, what Carlo Ancelotti did. He has to implement his own decisions, his own style, because by copying what your predecessors did, you're not changing anything. You're not doing anything different. The team is still going to flop and fail, regardless of what you do. And I'm not saying him changing a thing would make this team successful, but at least fans will be accepting that, okay, it's another man who has come in, who has not succeeded. He has tried his own style now. Alonso did his own thing. Carlo Ancelotti, one of the greatest managers of all time, couldn't do this. That is something more sinister than just the manager. End off. Now, it should already be common knowledge But I'm afraid that there are still some fans who blame Xabi Alonso. There are still some fans who blame Carlo Ancelotti. So Arbeloa is not going to do any different. Let's be real. It's not a manager. It's not a coach thing. But at least for Arbeloa's sake, he can sort of cleanse himself from this sort of blame. That's what I'm saying. And anyways, the team could still play better anyways if he changes things up. But I thought David Jimenez coming in was a breath of fresh air. You know, he is your proper right back. And Real Madrid have always been built on youth. Well, I know that sounds hilarious because people are going to say, what do you mean? You spend hundreds of millions on players and, you know, you buy the best players in the world. We do. But when you look at the squad, right? A team is not just the starting 11. You've got bench players, you've got reserve players, and you go back and you look at the Galacticos, Raul Gonzalez, Iker Casillas, right? You look back at the three-peat team when you had players, coming through as well, through the academy. And in recent times as well, when you look at players like Jacobo Ramon and Nico Paz, who are both at Como now, and they're doing well. We've got Chema Andres, who's at Stuttgart. Yes, they are not as successful, perhaps, as La Masia. But it doesn't mean that Real Madrid don't have a core of youth players and youth academy players that either comes into the team and helps the team out or gets sold for good profit. But either ways, whichever way you look at it, the youth academy is important for Real Madrid as well. And players like David Jimenez, I think, have to be part of the squad now. I do. Now, is it too early to say that? I don't think so. I think he has showed today and previously that he can do it. Now, I don't expect him to play week in, week out. I think Trent is back now, so he's going to perhaps keep that spot. I think if Carvajal gets back to full fitness, he will get the start. But David Jimenez, occasional starts, he can come in if needed. And I'm not going to trust the full fitness that Trent and Carvajal can just rotate amongst themselves from now until May. I don't believe that those two players can play every single game amongst themselves up until May. I think, touch wood, I think one of them might get injured again. And if that's the case, you're relying on the other one to play game in, game out. That's not going to happen. And the solution will just be to fall back on Fede Valverde and say, Fede Valverde, go to right back. But like I said, Fede Valverde is so much more efficient and better at centre midfield. And is the midfield better? I still don't think we have a player that we need, the profile of player we need in the midfield. But I thought he looked a lot better than previous games when you play both Goulet and Bellingham in that midfield. Now, speaking of Goulet, the mistake putting Goulet on the right wing, I've said this before, Arda Goulet is more effective from the midfield. And if he had decided to drop Camavinga for Goulet, perhaps that would be fine, because I did say many times that Camavinga and Tchouaméni double pivot play so much better. I don't think they were, incredible. I think they were alright, but I don't think it was as good as they play against Olympiacos and whatsoever. But I thought that if you're going to play Fede Valverde in the midfield, okay, now you could perhaps go Fede Valverde, Aurélien Tchouaméni, Arda Goulet midfield. He didn't do that. He went with Camavinga and Tchouaméni. He went with Fede Valverde. And their mistake now is you don't have a creative midfielder in the midfield. So, you have to balance it out. If you're going to play Valverde into the midfield, you still need to retain one of Bellingham or Goulet. Now, Bellingham's injured, so it's Goulet. And he didn't do that. Now, like I said, other Goulet out on the right is just not effective. It doesn't bring the best of his game. He's not your typical winger who is very quick, who can just dribble past everyone and get away from everyone. He doesn't operate like that because it's not his type of game style. It's not his type of game. He's more controlled. He likes to have the ball and take things slow. Perhaps play a little 1-2 with Mbappe, and you know, he's the creator, not the winger who is going to outrun everyone and you know score a goal. Like it's not Gareth Bale. You know, we're not looking at Gareth Bale here. You know, Mbappe played left wing, which was expected. Gonzalo Garcia played striker. Again, no service for Gonzalo Garcia. Like he was against Barcelona in the Super Cup final. And yeah, in general, the team were fine. Like it wasn't anything spectacular. Carreras was the man of the match. Yes, I agree. He was the best player. Great goal, gets the ball. A bit lucky, but still, no Valencia player were clearing it away. It bounced off a few bodies. It gets back to Carreras, and he just shoots and scores. Then the second goal, good ball forward. I think it was Dean Huijsen with the ball forward for Brahim Diaz on the left hand side. He puts the ball into the middle for Mbappe, serves it on the plate. You know, it's a good finish by Mbappe. It's his 23rd La Liga goal this season. I'm sure he's gonna win the Pachichi. I think it's what it's called. The top scorer trophy. I'm sure of it. And just a little bit of a talk about Valencia because their fans were booing towards the end. Now Valencia are still down in 17th, right? They are in that relegation mix. They are just not having a good time because you know obviously a club like Valencia should not be in that mix, and they're in there with teams like Rayo Vallecano who should be staying up. Mallorca could be going down, Elche could be going down, Alaves could be going down. Like Valencia should not be there, and they should not be worse than most of those other teams. So I think there is some serious work to be done because they should not be there. That's not where they belong, right? And I thought they played pretty alright for most of the game as well. I thought you know they had chances and they didn't take that. I think Lucas Beltran had a chance towards the final 20 minutes and he missed it. But look, Real Madrid get the win. That's I guess the most important part. Let me just go through the team before we end off. I thought Courtois was alright. You know, not the most amount of shots faced. David Jimenez was really good. Asensio, Huijsen, Carreras were all really good. Like I said, defensively, the team was very good. We kept the clean sheet at the Mestalla. What else can you expect? And it wasn't like we were facing, you know, that many chances. We really limited them. Let me look at the stats. 9 shots, 9 on target. So, it could have been a lot more. And normally, Real Madrid would concede, even with 1 shot. So, I thought the defense did really well. Kept the clean sheet, which is quite nice. Like I said, the midfield was, you know, dead. There wasn't any creative mind in the midfield. And the attack, Goulet, I'm not going to blame him because he was being played out of position and I don't think he had a particularly good game. But neither did Gonzalo Garcia and he wasn't getting any service. Mbappe scoring again. And yeah, I thought the team played alright. Like I said, it's not going to be good or great by any stretch. But I don't think it was poor or terrible. I think it was alright. And is alright good enough going forward? No. But we know that. We know it's not good enough. But we know that's also, we know that's the new norm. The new normalized, situation. So, yeah. But that'll be it for today. Hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel on already. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.